Angel Reese calls out Caitlin Clark fans after Fever loss to Sun Reese, commented on accounts of player abuse, including her own. WNBA star Angel Reese still has a bone to pick with certain fans of Caitlin Clark, or at least purported fans of Clark's, who she says have been flagrantly mistreating her for the past 2 years. Reese took to social media on Thursday, September 26th, one day after the Connecticut Sun eliminated the Indiana Fever from the playoffs. Following Game 2 of the first-round series, Sun star Alyssa Thomas called on the league and the Fever to crack down on the misbehavior of one swath of fans who have been abusive toward Clark's opponents across her rookie year, specifically those who have done so with a sometimes subtle and other times obvious undertone of racism. "You'll know I've been going through this for the last 2 years, but was told, save the tears and stop playing the victim." Reese posted to X, "You're a little late to the party and could have tried to put out this fire way before it started." Reese wrote her comments in response to an X post from Awful Announcing, which quoted analyst Andrea Carter of ESPN, calling out the group of fans in question for hateful comments hurled both from the stands and on social media. "It's heartbreaking that the excitement around the league is at its highest, but the racial slurs and the derogatory comments and the online bullying are also at their worst," Carter said. Carter's comments came after Thomas spoke to media members in her post-game press conference following the Suns' narrow victory over the Fever at home to advance to the second round of the playoffs. "I think, in my 11-year career, I've never experienced the racial comments from the Indiana Fever fan base. It's unacceptable, honestly, and there's no place for it," Thomas said. "We've been professional throughout the whole entire thing, but I've never been called the things that I've been called on social media, and there's no place for it. Basketball is headed in a great direction, but we don't want fans that are going to degrade us and call us racial things." FS1 sports analyst Nick Wright called out the same group of fans for not being fans of Clark, the Fever, or the sport of women's basketball at all, but instead veiling their hatred in false fandom to humble black women. "You've got this boatload of new fans because Caitlin Clark is box office. But unfortunately and inevitably, and the league should have seen this train coming down the tracks, on that bandwagon were folks that weren't fans of basketball, that weren't even actual fans of Caitlin Clark," Wright said on the Thursday edition of his What's Right podcast. "They were fans of what they thought Caitlin Clark could represent, which was the humbling of black women. And you've got this cavalcade of open, unabashed racists who tried to put a hood of Caitlin Clark fandom on, and on social media, and last night in person, tried their best to